Hi, I'm MikeD. I recently covered a story for Novachimp News, a protest rally against Monsanto Corporation making chemicals and genetically controlled corn and other crops. There was hundreds of people there. So you should be asking why I was the only reporter there out of all three major news network affiliated stations. WTTN TV2 NBC, WHIO TV7 CBS News, WKEF TV2 22, and Fox 45 News. So what follows is a Novachimp News exclusive report on March and Protest Rally in Dayton, Ohio. Here's Novachimp News reporter MikeD there on the scene. Hi, this is MikeD reporting from downtown Dayton for Novachimp News. I'm attending a rally today against Monsanto using G.M.O.s products. And there's a big rally today, and I'm doing an exclusive reporting. None of the other TV stations in Dayton area covered this. I'm the only one here, and I'm going to be interviewing some of the people that are involved in this rally today, talking to them as to why they're here and why they're against Monsanto. This is MikeD reporting from downtown Dayton.
We're going to tell you how to prepare it and how we prepare it.
Could you tell me why you're here and what this is all about, please?
I am here because our government has sold us out to the benefit of a chemical corporation who's basically poisoning the earth, poisoning the people, using experimental seeds on the population and processed food that they have not done the appropriate studies for and have not been proven to be safe. Studies have shown by other outside groups that it's completely possible that it is not safe at all. Our government is corrupt. There's a complete blurring of the lines between the government and Monsanto. The executives between the two basically swap back and forth between each other. So, it's an ugly, ugly scene, but this is a part of the national movement. Global. There was over 2 million people marching today, and so as a member of Occupy Dayton, me and fellow occupiers decided to step up and bring a local movement to the Monsanto March. So here we are in Dayton, Ohio, and the response has been excellent. Lots of people here.
I've seen a lot of people here. Could you sort of estimate how many people were involved in this march?
I would say a couple of hundred, wouldn't you?
Yes, because I do a lot of these marches, and I've never seen so many people in a march before.
Wow.
So this must be an important issue.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Like the first day, I got really sick, and I felt like the healthiest I've felt in a long time was while I was in Greece. And when I got back here, I didn't feel that way anymore, and I really think the food had a big impact on that.
Do you still eat Greek food?
I still eat Greek food all the time, yeah.
Okay, and you're at this rally against Monsanto today. Can you tell me why you're here?
Because I'm fed up with the way that everything is controlled by Monsanto and by the government, and how there's not even any kind of publicizing this event at all. And I think it's not fair that we're being genetically modified, and no one really knows about it. And
could you tell me that story again about being in Greece, because my camera wasn't on?
Oh, that's okay. I was studying trumpet in Greece with Wright State's trumpet ensemble, and we were up in a mountain village called Kalavrita, about 3 hours outside of Athens, up this large mountain, an hour and a half, 2 hours outside of any other major city. And so everything we ate there was fresh from the farms, and it was grown there. The meat was from there. We even had rooster one day that was, the rooster was picked from a farm there. And when I got back from Greece and ate something here, I started getting really sick, and for about a week it took me, that long to get used to the food again, and I really think the GMOs and everything in our food had a big impact on that.
Thank you very much.
My name's Risha Stevens. I live in Dayton, Ohio. I've been a nurse since 1972. Currently work in the health field in another capacity, but I have seen over the years more and more cancer, especially thyroid cancer, in this area, and just wanted to come march for better food today, for the GMO food at least to be labeled, and for them to hopefully quit making it, because I don't think it's good for our people, and just want our seeds to be safe.
Thank you very much. Yes, we're finding some interesting people here today, folks.
Why do we march? Research studies have shown that Monsanto's genetically modified foods can lead to serious health conditions such as the development of cancer, tumors, infertility, and birth defects. In the US, the FDA, the agency tasked with ensuring food safety for the population, is steered by ex-Monsanto executives, and we feel that's a questionable conflict of interest, you think? And explains the lack of government-led research on the long-term effects of GMO products. Recently, the US Congress and the President collectively passed the nicknamed Monsanto Protection Act that, among other things, bans courts from halting the sale of Monsanto's genetically modified seeds. Wouldn't we all like that kind of protection, hey? For too long, Monsanto has been the benefactor of corporate subsidies and political favoritism. Organic and small farmers suffer losses, while Monsanto continues to forge its monopoly over the world's food supply, including exclusive patenting rights over seeds and genetic makeup. Boo hiss! Monsanto's GMO seeds are harmful to the environment. For example, scientists have indicated they have caused colony collapse among the world's bee population. Boo hiss! Yeah! So, what other solutions we advocate? Voting with your dollars by buying organic and boycotting Monsanto-owned companies that use GMOs in their products. And we have lists of the companies that you want to avoid. It's basically anything on your shelf in the normal grocery store. Labeling of GMOs so that consumers can make informed decisions easier. Repealing the relevant provisions of the US's Monsanto Protection Act. Calling for further scientific research on the health effects of GMOs. Holding Monsanto executives and Monsanto supporting politicians accountable. Through direct communication, grassroots journalism, social media, etc. Word of mouth, baby. Continuing to inform the public about Monsanto's secrets. Taking to the streets, aka here we are! To show the world and Monsanto that we won't take these injustices quietly! We will not stand for cronyism! We will not stand for poison! That's why we march against Monsanto!
But food is under attack and Monsanto is leading the charge. So here's what we know. Monsanto will do anything to avoid regulation. They will do anything to avoid responsibility for the effects of their products on health and the environment. I did some research for this talk, and I found way too many things to talk about, but I picked one, and I picked this one because this one hits really close to home. When Monsanto in the 1940s, they were working with the federal government to build nuclear bombs, the Manhattan Project. Well, they were in charge of the Dayton Project, that is Dayton, Ohio. And in Oakwood, just around 3 miles from here, they were extracting and refining polonium for nuclear weapons. That house became contaminated, so they moved on down the road to Miamisburg, where they built Mound Laboratories. Mound Laboratories later was identified in 1989 as a Superfund site. So Monsanto has a long history with us here, and it's not a good one. Monsanto products are notably toxic. DDT, PCBs, Agent Orange, RBGH, bovine growth hormone, are all Monsanto products, and they are all toxic. They are all poison. In 1976, Monsanto introduced Roundup, a glyphosate-based weed killer. Later, genetic engineering, which I think you'll hear more about later, led to Roundup Ready seed. So how do they get away with this? Well, 127 years ago, the U.S. Supreme Court gave corporations a gift, the gift of corporate personhood. We know that corporations are not persons, but the courts continue to give them one court decision after another affirming this right of corporate personhood. If they were really persons, Monsanto would have been arrested long ago for bribery, grand theft, fraud, and murder. Monsanto cites the U.S. Constitution to maintain its market share, to do what it wants, to avoid regulation, to protect itself against any threats at all, to avoid labeling. They avoid labeling by claiming free speech under the First Amendment. They use the Fifth Amendment Due Process Clause. They use the 14th Amendment Equal Protection Clause. Recently, Monsanto got a rider into a budget bill called the Monsanto Protection Act. This gives them immunity from federal court judgments against new, not even on the market yet, GMO crops, so that when they want to introduce the next alfalfa or sugar beets or canola or corn or cotton, they won't get stopped. And this has been passed, and this was signed into law. Now there's an amendment in the Farm Bill that will take away states' rights to decide whether labeling should be allowed or not. Unfortunately, both of our Ohio senators passed up on a chance to get rid of this on Thursday. Sure did. So it's not a done deal yet, but we need to make sure that they do not allow that to go through. So what do we do? At a personal level, buy organic, buy local, support your local farmers. Grow your own food, avoid processed foods, and question everything. Especially let the food manufacturers, the grocers, the restaurants know that you only want non-GMO food. That's all that you will buy. Support community initiatives and sustainability like Garden Station, which is just a wonderful place. And then I'm going to ask one more thing, because at a national level, keep in mind that when we get rid of Monsanto, there will be another corporation that steps up to take its place. So we need to abolish corporate personhood. We need a broad-based coalition coalition, and there is one. The Move to Amend Coalition is a democracy movement that is putting forth the 28th Amendment to the Constitution to declare that corporations are not persons and that money does not equal speech. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but get educated, get involved. Thank you.
Monsanto's GMOs are not only dangerous themselves, but they're covered in pesticides that contain many dangerous chemicals. As she said, I'm the mother to a little boy, Emerson. He'll turn 2 next month. I've done vast amounts of research on the topic and came to the conclusion before he was born that I wasn't going to subject him to these dangers. While there have been many studies alluding to the dangers of GMO and pesticides, not nearly enough of these are being conducted in the U.S. The only thing I can assume is that they know what these studies will show, and Monsanto will not be pleased with the results. One study I found particularly interesting was one done on children in a small community in Mexico. The community started out as one group, and as modern agricultural techniques became more popular, half of the community moved away to the Yaqui Valley, where they were using pesticides, and it didn't take much research to find out that, of course, Monsanto was involved in that. And so some researchers in the early 80s went down to test on these kids that were living in the valley, and what they found was high levels of pesticides in the mother's breast milk and the cord blood of the babies. The study was quickly put to an end, and the researchers were forced to abandon their trials. In the 90s, Elizabeth Goyette, a doctor from the University of Florida, after gaining approval from the proper channels, decided to search for signs of cancer in the children from the Yaqui Valley. After speaking to the mothers, it turned out that cancer was the least of their worries about their children. The mothers were worried about the effects on their children's mental state as well as physical, and they tended to be in worse overall health than the children who remained away from modern farms. After a series of tests, they determined the children in the Yaqui Valley had significant developmental delays. The children from both communities were asked to draw a human figure. Not one of the 4 or 5-year-olds that lived in the valley were able to draw anything recognizable as a human. They also had poor fine motor skills and short-term memory loss.
That was an exclusive MikeD Novachimp News special report. I usually don't editorialize on things that I report, but I got a lot to say on this subject because I did some research myself and it's scary. People around the world are joining arms to refuse GMO food products. So why is the United States not doing the same, you have to ask? Most people in the U.S. are not even aware of the dangers of genetically modified foods. Europe eliminated GMOs from their food supplies over 10 years ago. It is estimated that around 70% of all food in our grocery stores contain GMOs. Everyone needs to see the Alex Jones video on YouTube InfoWars channel at http://youtube.b /capital F small d 9 small c small m small d capital V capital N capital O small v capital Q, or you can find it on my Facebook page. Here's what Alex Jones said partly on that video. According to Alex Jones on YouTube InfoWars, more than 85% of corn now consumed in the U.S. is genetically engineered. It grows its own pesticide within the corn kernel so that insects won't even eat it. What happens when we eat it? Hundreds of studies showing that Monsanto's GMO corn has been linked to organ failure and mass increases of sterility in lab animals. And they are finding that when cows are fed their corn, cows have miscarriages and have died. So think about the food that you buy. Buy food that doesn't have genetically modified food products in it. You can find food like that at a lot of health food stores. So I hope everyone enjoyed this video. This has been MikeD reporting for Novachimp News.